Nothing like a bit of talk sports sensationalism to get the conversation going. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Football Yannick. How are you doing? Jamie O'Hara, the most beloved talk sport radio host, sarcasm, has come out and said Pep Guardiola has spoilt Jack Grealish, which, by the way, isn't necessarily a sentiment that just he has. There's a lot of people that think that. And we're going to talk about it. And he said Pep Guardiola is like a spoiled brat. Wow. Strong words from O'Hara on TalkSport. Jack Grealish, the £100 million man, the mercurial talisman of Aston Villa. That was iconic, exciting. He had a bit of the Eden Hazard about him, didn't he? Like picking up the ball and lining up the pitch. There was a period, England fans will remember this, where Southgate wasn't picking him, but the whole England fan base was clamouring for Jack Grealish. You know, get him on. You know, you had your Fodens and your Sterlings and your Bukayo Sakas and stuff, but everyone wanted Jack Grealish to get on the pitch, this exciting guy. And Guardiola wanted him, and he is their transfer record, isn't he? I believe so. Still, correct me if I'm wrong. £100 million. And Villa sold him, and he took the number 10, and went to Man City. We're going to talk about it today, guys. Welcome back to Football Yannick. There's daily content here on the channel. I'm very thankful for your support. We're getting loads of great momentum here. It is the road to 20,000 subscribers. If you want to be a part of that journey, why not subscribe? Thanks for liking the video and sharing or whatever. And it's just my opinions, my thoughts, my commentary on the beautiful game, whether it be transfers, big match results, or indeed stories like this, which I do think is a very compelling talking point. You get people down the pub talking about it, at work, and indeed over the internet. So, first of all, get out early. Jack Grealish is an incredible talent that he demonstrated. He's one of these wonderful footballers that are really good, and I mean, we haven't seen it for a long time, but the way he can like play between the lines and dribble, the only sort of, in my opinion, the only element of Jack Grealish we've seen lately at Man City that we saw at Villa is his ability to draw fouls, which is very useful when you're up the pitch to maintain field tilt and possession in the opposition half. And that's good for all managers, even the more like philosophical, idealistic managers like Guardiola. He still sees value in that. But all the other good stuff, like, you know, the wonderful magic, the off-the-cuff mercurial football stuff, Man City fans will tell you we haven't seen for a while. He is a very talented footballer. I want to be very mindful when talking about Jack Grealish as well, that I'm not being derogatory towards him. He is, even if he's maybe not played to his level, he is like but a really great guy, apart from maybe a few mishaps along the way of like drinking and driving and doing dumb stuff like that. But as a person, people who have come across Jack Grealish will tell you he's a really sweet man. Like, he's really nice, always has time for people, always goes to speak to the fans really playfully. He's really like warm as a person, and but just genuinely a good dude. And I feel like when you talk about footballers like this, sometimes it's important to remember the human side to it. And apparently, you know, he's a really great guy. I've seen like clips of him as well. He just seems like a really lovely bloke. So I want to get that in early. And he's 30 now. He's an amazing footballer, and of course, he was important when they won the treble. You know, he's won the treble. He's won the treble. This season, he has, the season that's just finished, 1 Premier League goal and 1 assist in very limited minutes. 13 appearances all I think with subs. But yeah, he's 29. He will turn 30 this summer, I believe. I think he's still got a lot to give, of course. Just like historically at Man City, let's have a quick look here. Last season he scored 3 goals in the Prem in just very limited minutes as well. The season before that, he scored 5 goals in the Prem. I mean, I'm getting this off Who Scored. This has to be correct. The season before that, he scored 3 goals in the Prem. This is all at Man City. And then before that, at Aston Villa, he got 6 goals with 10 assists, double digits for assists. His numbers are like undeniably much better at Aston Villa, of course, than they are at Manchester City. Me looking now, and that's obviously what got him the £100 million move. I mean, his numbers have never been good. The thing is, right? Okay, so let's talk about O'Hara's comments. What is not up for debate is Jack Grealish had to change as a player going to Man City, because Man City are an incredibly systemic automated side. You know the words I'm going for. And that's what makes them so successful. They're not like there was like, especially, and I don't. Pep evolves, he changes. He did. He used to be this like Rubik's Cube manager when you do a few set of passes and you'll always reset position and go again. Then he went from like little diminutive ball players, like, you know, the total football Pep era, and he went for like big bully boys and started just playing 4 centre backs in the back line, you know, with one inverting into midfield or whatever, or stepping up. Maybe not even inverting, just stepping forward like John Stones or whatever. And then he obviously went from like diminutive false nines to literally the big Nordic Viking of Erling Haaland, like a true 9. So Pep evolves. He's not always the same. It would be churlish for me to suggest otherwise. But he is systemic. And he hasn't got the best out of like wide wingers for a long time. Obviously, there was the era where Raheem Sterling and Leroy Sané both popped off. And that's the very early Man City era of Pep Guardiola. That was very exciting, but you know, freaking like I said, Doku's got like let me just double check, because Doku, £60 million signing, you know, wonder kid, yada yada yada. He's got 3 goals this season, 3 Premier League goals. Jeremy Doku. Savinho as well, another player. He plays out wide. Let's see how many goals he's got this season. Another winger. 1 Premier League goal, 21 appearances, 1 Premier League goal. So he's not getting the best out of wingers, is he? That's wild, by the way. It's literally just like Haaland or bust. Mental. Who does score a lot of goals. And obviously Marmoush. But, you know, did nothing from the wide positions, the winger positions. I mean, that is really poor from Savinho. He did get 8 assists, which is obviously great for a wide player. But 1 goal. A single Premier League goal. Yeah, and Grealish. And of course, the sentiment that people have is Jack Grealish, you know, we all enjoyed. And this is indicative to football at large. And I know Guardiola pretty much is at the forefront of this, that football's becoming often more boring in these instances. Now, the successful element of the Qatari sports washing project is everyone's looking at PSG and going, what a lovely football team. Look at this high-octane pressing, passing combination and, you know, systemic playing, but freedom of expression. And then they're like, we love Luis Enrique because it's a great football team and, you know, system. We all love Luis Enrique's PSG. What a great fun to watch. And then, you know, Guardiola's foot. Personally, I've never been massively into Pep's football. I've been a huge admirer of him. I think he's the most influential manager of all time. I think he completely worked out just how to kill the Premier League in a way where Man City just win relentlessly. And that's not me like saying he's doing anything wrong. Chelsea, when we were winning Premier Leagues from being all, like maybe a bit more defensive, boring Chelsea, it's just what happens. If you find a way to win that's not really high risk, people will criticise you. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. But yeah, I did probably prefer watching Jurgen Klopp's football because it was, you know, more transitional, high risk, a little bit more, as he called it, heavy metal. But, you know, Man City fans will rightly not give a so-and-so about what people think about how they won on the pitch, about how they won Premier League titles, let's say. But there is this sentiment that, you know, Guardiola, certainly with certain expressive football players, you know, doesn't get the best out of them. Like Eden Hazard was going to go to maybe Man City or Man United. I'm pleased he went to, obviously as a Chelsea fan, I'm pleased because he's, you know, my favourite player to have played for Chelsea in terms of talent. Him probably and Franco Zola. But would he have had this same expressive license in, you know, the latter stages of career playing under Guardiola? I'm not so sure, you know. and you know, maybe obviously, actually, I mean, I think Pep has progressively become more stifling. But it's very, very interesting because it's a sad situation with Jack Grealish, because he went to Man City, took the number 10 shirt. He obviously earns silly money at Man City because he's part of that, you know, like, let's just have a look, shall we? Jack Grealish, Man City wage, or salary, I could say. £15.6 million. 15.6 million. Okay, so a year in weekly salary. I'm just going to Google that and see if it does it. Yeah, so he gets like, he gets over 300k? Let me just double check this. Yeah, it's like £300,000 per week. So he's done all right, mate. £300,000 a week at Manchester City. Lots of money. He won the treble, even if he didn't score loads of goals or whatever. I think he got a lot of minutes, and when you get a lot of minutes in a team that succeeds like that, you feel a part of it. But there is a kind of somberness to it, like a sadness to it, because it was all, you know, Haaland's just scoring loads of goals and stuff, and it's just not like, he just maybe didn't get the, even in that season, just didn't get the output that you'd expect from Jack, didn't get the expression, the moments from, like I say, this like artist, this mercurial figure, that, and there is this sort of underlying narrative, again, rightly or wrongly, I'm not having a go because they've won, that this like, you know, beautiful, natural, organic talent got like shackled in this machine, this industrious machine that's just built to win, and it did, and he'll be happy and he shouldn't have any regrets because he won trophies and made loads of money. But there is that sort of romanticism, like a perspective of it that seems a bit sad, and I'm sure maybe even some Man City fans might see it like that. They might not want to go, oh, our team's ruined a great player. No, of course not. But what they might say is it was an exciting profile of player and they wish they could have got a bit more out of them. And rightly, they probably say as well that he's not done enough as well in the last stages, whether that be injuries, whether that be an integration thing into Guardiola's style of football, and whether that be an application thing from the player himself. I mean, I can't speak from too much detail because I'm not a Man City fan, but what I can sort of talk about is the perception from the outside looking in, and that's why you got people like, I mean, I personally, I wouldn't be of the inclination to do a Jamie O'Hara and say Pep Guardiola is a spoiled brat, he straight up ruined Jack Grealish. I don't think he bought him to ruin him. I think he bought him as part of the plan, and some things work out and some things don't. But I think there is an underlying sort of sad note with Jack Grealish at Man City, that the neutrals sort of lost a figure of football that they were enjoying, you know. And I think that's going to be inescapable, but very, very interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Of course, I upload all the time, well, every day on this channel, and often multiple times a day. So I'm thankful to everyone who likes and comments, and to all the new subscribers. Thank you and welcome, because you are all welcome. All right, take care. Peace.